Well, finally tonight, a podcast series that follows the work of a Catholic exorcist is now topping the charts. The Exorcist Files is #1 in Spotify's religion and spirituality category and quickly climbing the charts on Apple. The series exposes the dangers of the devil and the victory of Christ over evil. And joining us tonight is the host of the Exorcist Files, Father Carlos Martins. Father, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you with us. You are an exorcist yourself, and you have a lot of experience in this area. Tell us a little bit more about the podcast and why you decided to launch it.
Yeah, sure. So it was about 2-3 years ago. The Holy See approached me. I work with different dicasteries in different capacities. And they approached me. They desired a new and robust catechesis on the demonic to be launched. And they asked me if I would undertake that. And so I decided to do that in several phases. And the first phase is this podcast. And I selected a podcast for a number of reasons. One, it was just much easier to do than video. And today, people are listening to things on their phones more than they're watching things on TV. And so I opted for this because it is easy audibly to show a dramatization, and a dramatization is useful because it better shows the adversarial nature of evil. It shows people what can happen when we allow evil to enter into our lives.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, your podcast, it's really popular. Why do you think that is? And what do you hope that people will take away from it?
Sure. So I guess, evil it strikes something primordial within us. And evil is a perennial bestseller in terms of drama. But evil, when it comes to talking about the devil, the ancient serpent, it strikes the most primordial nature within us. People have an attraction, a curiosity to that. And the podcast offers a robust theological teaching, something that I think has been lacking. And people are tuning into that because they're receiving something that they're not getting. And people can tune into the podcast at exorcistfiles.tv, exorcistfiles.tv. There are numerous episodes that have already launched. The season will consist of 14 episodes, and they will cover various theological topics pertaining to evil.
And I know you mentioned they're reenactments, but they're reenactments of actual exorcisms that you performed, but you wanted to keep the victims' information and themselves confidential. Talk to us about why you chose to portray their stories and these themes so vividly.
Well, you know what? It really came down to one thing. I saw a statistic presented by the Pew Survey people. They found that within a 5-year period, the demographic of 18 to 29-year-olds, in that 5-year period, the number of those folks that abandoned religion altogether increased by 1/3 in just 5 years. Yet at the same time, 63% of the same demographic stated that they believe it is possible to become demonically possessed. So you have these two seemingly contradictory elements, a losing faith in religion, and yet something is happening in their lives that makes them conclude that the devil is real. And I thought that is a most interesting, albeit disturbing find. I wanted to do something that would reach out to these people, that would reach out to the young. They're very comfortable with podcasts. They're very comfortable accessing things through their telephone. And I wanted to give them an experience that would allow them to make sense of their own experience of what's happening in their lives in a way that is congruent with the victory of Jesus Christ.
Father, we have probably about a minute left or so, but I kind of just quickly want to jump off of what you were talking about, the young people. You know, it used to be a time we thought maybe the devil would hide or kind of slyly put these messages out there, but now things are so out in the open. We saw a performer at the Grammys dressed as the devil. You know, there's these video games that are very satanic and these after-school Satan clubs. What do you think is happening here, and how can we protect our children, our young people, from these evil influences?
Sure. So the devil is obviously changing his tactic. That's obvious. He liked to be hidden when we were a Christian society, a Christian culture. But now our culture is no longer Christian. It has embraced paganism. And with the increasing nature of paganism, as that stretches, he doesn't need to hide himself. And so what do we do to protect ourselves? Well, first of all, parents, you need to be practicing the faith. You need to be attending church. You need to be praying in the home. You need to be setting models and examples for your children, because you know what? Hypocrisy doesn't make a Christian out of anyone. They need to see the faith model. They need to see the joy in your life. And secondly, we need to address as Christians with young people that evil is a dead end, that Jesus Christ has had the victory. And we need to do that in a way that enables them to see the joy of the faith in our lives. That will make converts.
Oh, Father, thank you so much for coming on, talking about your podcast. We're going to give a listen, and God bless you for what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. exorcistfiles.tv.